Howdy folks, I'm Ron, the Pong Master.
I'm Amber.
And here's one digital square bouncing back and forth. Alright folks, our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Getting My Niece a Toy Vacuum for her birthday? So I have a niece and a nephew that are identical twins. Last weekend was their 6th birthday party at my sister's house. Both have been really interested in ocean and sea creatures lately, so that was the theme of their party. Gifts I got for my niece, a toy vacuum, a sea creature dress, a play cooking set, a baby doll, a dolphin makeup set, and some new shoes. And I got my nephew a dinosaur truck, an ocean specimen set, a robot creature, a tracksuit, magnetic toys, and new shoes. After opening the presents, I noticed that my sister was giving off weird vibes towards me. I pulled her aside to see what was up. She expressed that she felt that my gifts to the kids were sexist. She claims that the gifts that I got for my nephew promoted exploration and that they were more educational and interactive and cool. She said that the gifts that I got my niece reeked of gendered stereotypes of women doing cleaning, cooking, and caretaking. I was honestly in shock. I felt like I picked out good gifts for my niece and nephew, and I even made sure to include an ocean-themed gift for each of them. I spent a similar amount on each of them and didn't really think that there was an issue with any of the things that I got. I told my sister that she should be grateful that I got them both lots of gifts. She called me a jerk and stormed off. Didn't talk to me for the rest of the party. I feel like she was waiting for me to apologize, but I don't think there's anything that I should be sorry for. Am I the jerk? Alright folks, what do you think, jerk or not the jerk?
I'm gonna go with OP's the jerk here. It sounds like he just kind of went into the gendered aisles and just grabbed things for the kids. And like, I really wish stores would stop having these gendered toy aisles because there's no such thing as girl toys or boy toys.
So I think my biggest concern with the gifts that he got is that all the niece's toys are kind of centered around doing chores.
Yeah, they're kind of like caretaking and house cleaning responsibilities.
Whereas the other toys, the nephews, are kind of like fun toys, right? I mean, vacuuming, cooking, those are things that people would consider chores for the most part. And maybe if she had expressed an interest in being like, oh, I really love cleaning or I love cooking or something to that effect, then it would be a little bit different. And like a tracksuit versus a dress, one you can get dirty in, one you really can't get dirty in.
Well, and that was her only like marine science gift was a dress. Like the nephew gets a cool like kit and she gets a dress with sea creatures.
Yeah. And I mean, they may very well end up sharing toys, but I think it's kind of a matter of the principle here. I mean, certainly if he had good intentions here, that this was an honest mistake, and really he should have been listening to his sisters and trying to understand her perspective on why she might be interested in raising her children differently. But it seems like he has really set in stone ways, and he wants to impose those ways on his niece and nephew.
Yeah, well, if you read in the comments, he's like, well, I didn't get my nephew a cooking thing because I didn't think he'd like it.
Yeah.
And it's basically like, oh, well, I just got theirs from their respective gender aisles. And like, that's where I think the issue is.
So I do think it was nice and generous of him to buy them lots of gifts. I'm not saying it wasn't, but I think that he needs to do a better job at listening to his sister's concerns, not brushing her off when she expresses a concern here.
Yeah, and if you're not sure what kids will like, it's always best to listen to them, or in their absence, listen to their parents.
Yeah. So again, like, I don't think that this is the worst of the stories that we've ever had on here or anything like that.
I like this story because it's kind of a reminder of the everyday sexism and like just kind of like to think a little bit more than just grabbing something that's pink or blue.
Yeah. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Romeo in Obulette says, yeah, gross. You gave the girl toys that are about being a servant, doing chores for other people and looking pretty. And you gave the boy science toys and dinosaurs. Why didn't you get the boy a cooking set, vacuums, and dolls? Yeah, we know why. Worse, you refuse to even consider your sister's point of view. In response to her claims of sexism, you say, well, I got an ocean-themed gift for each of them, and I spent similar amounts of money on both of them. But neither is responsive to your sister's concern. You don't show any willingness to acknowledge the issue, which is stubborn and rude. Your sister is absolutely right to reject these unkind stereotypical gifts. It sets a poor example for both of the children, especially the girl. It shows that your mindset is very antiquated, and I would be frankly embarrassed if I were you. Reconsider how you relate to the children and their gender before engaging with your niece and nephews. I'm sure that being exposed to your stereotypes would negatively impact their development. Easy, you're the jerk. OP, when asked why he didn't want to get the boy any cooking items, responds, I know that he wouldn't want to play with those things. And when asked how he knows, he responds, I assume because those were the types of toys in the girls section, which I will take as a straightforward admission of sexist stereotyping. Alright folks, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for refusing to buy a new television until the old one breaks? My wife and I have owned our television set for about 10 years. There are signs that it's beginning to fail. Every once in a while, the screen turns purple and we have to turn it off and then back on again to get it back to normal. My wife says that these problems are only going to get worse and that we should buy a new TV soon. But I checked the prices and they're all ridiculous. Even worse, she wants a top-of-the-line television, which is going to set us back even more money. I've told her that we need to wait for our current TV set to break before even considering buying a new one. Well, yesterday evening, we were watching television and one of the speakers just stopped working. I tried hitting the TV thinking that it was an electrical short, but it never came back on. My wife went into full-on I told you so mode and said that we wouldn't be having this problem with the audio if we had already purchased a new TV. I told her that she was being spoiled and entitled and that one of the speakers was still working, so we could simply increase the volume to compensate. She became really angry at me, calling me a cheapskate and saying that the TV is really important to her as a way to unwind from a hard day's worth of work. I absolutely resent being called a cheapskate, and I told her that I thought that she was struggling to control her emotions and saying things that she didn't really mean. I told her that I wouldn't have purchased a premium gaming laptop for myself if I was so cheap, and I suggested that she relax and take some deep breaths. She told me that I was being condescending and unhelpful. I told her that it was her decision to feel so emotional about this and that I was unwilling to continue the conversation until she could calm down and start being logical. She accused me of being sexist and stormed off and slammed the bedroom door shut. I just want my wife to understand that money doesn't grow on trees and that she's being unreasonable about the situation, but she seems to be completely unwilling to empathize with my point of view. She's been distanced this morning and barely said 2 words to me before leaving for work. Am I the jerk? Edit, people keep saying that I'm selfish because I purchased a gaming laptop. I want to clarify that my old laptop became almost totally unusable. This TV is nowhere near as bad off as my old laptop was. Alright folks, what do you think, jerk or not the jerk?
Yeah, I think Opie's being a jerk here, and the thing I want to focus on first is how dismissive and condescending he is to his wife, being like, oh, you're just being too emotional. I'm not going to talk to you until you can be logical. Like, that is some sexist nonsense right there that I do not appreciate at all.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of like, she values having a TV. Their TV is broken. It may not be like entirely unusable, but it is like interrupting her ability to enjoy it. And he's just like, no, until this is like, the screen won't turn on, we can't get a new TV. It's just so...
I think that this is an all-around bad situation. I understand that OP's laptop got to the point where it was failing, and I mean, I feel that because, like, that's kind of how I feel when I want to purchase new things, right? But also, there needs to be a fine line between figuring out what's acceptable and reasonable for one person isn't necessarily acceptable or reasonable for another person. Mm-hmm. And there needs to be some kind of compromise here. Maybe you two decide that you can't get a new TV right now because the way the prices are, and just opt to get a used TV that's not quite what you want, but it's cheap, right? And then later on, get a more expensive TV. So I think it's just a matter of you two really need to have better conversations, and you need to not dismiss your wife's feelings on these things and say that she's being illogical, irrational, and all these other kinds of things that have been classically used to shut down people.
Yeah, well, and I'm wondering too, like, why is he the deciding factor in all the household finances? Like, he can buy himself a gaming laptop, but his wife cannot get a new TV, and it's like, why are you the one who's dictating it? Like, presumably she's doing things in your household. I mean, it sounds like she's working,
well, she's
too.
also working, yeah.
Yeah, but she's probably doing other things, too, so even if her salary doesn't match yours, like, she's contributing to your household.
Yeah, and I mean, certainly the way prices are, I can't blame OP for wanting to not buy a premium television at the moment, but again, this needs to be a conversation that you, like, for instance, you bought yourself a premium gaming laptop. There are other, considerations for your wife. She likes to watch TV. This is something that she really enjoys, maybe as much as you enjoy your laptop. So it really needs to be a equal type of thing in that respect. And one way to kind of handle these situations is to adopt a free money or a fun money type of system where you two pay yourself an allowance each month. That way you two can save up for the things that you really want and don't necessarily need. So I really feel that there needs to be more of a budgeting type system going on in your household. It sounds like you two aren't both invested in doing the finances in the same way.
Yeah, and like you may not have equal access to the finances, and that's where my concern is.
Yeah.
Like if the wife has significantly less access to money, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, and so you two really should be working finances out together, making mutual decisions, and having your own separate piles of fun money that you can spend on your own interests. And not to be sexist and meaning towards your wife.
Mm-hmm.
So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What has 4 eyes but can't see?
Exactly 4 eyes?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly 4 eyes, but cannot see. I know what has 4 eyes and doesn't see. Wait. No, wait. 1 second. 1 second. I just realized that my thing was off. Iguanas can see. I was gonna say, so I was like, thought I was so clever there for a second. I was like, an iguana in an igloo, an iguana eating ice cream in an igloo in November or something like that. But that's 5 eyes. That you get the point. But my answer was very much wrong in a lot of ways because now it's 5 eyes and the iguana can definitely see.
Mississippi.
Mississippi? Yeah, okay. I knew it was a word thing. And I've got Mega Mint. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for watching. Amber, it's Friday. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Is there a moral of the story? And please have it involve at least one iguana eating ice cream.
If you want to give a toy to an iguana eating an ice cream in an igloo, you probably should give it whatever iguana's like. I don't know what that is. But if you want to give a toy to a child, you should take the child's interests into account and not just buy them arbitrary gendered items.
I guess it works. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.